Here we go with round one. We'll definitely play first. I don't know if my opponent's going to be a really fast deck, so it's probably smart to play. And yeah, we can keep this. It's pretty medium, but we do have Eye Blight's ending, so we can buy ourselves a bit of time. Bloodfell Caves will gain us some life. Bam. Excellent. Ooh, now we have Wake Dancer. Well, we have some morbid triggers. Screeching Scob. Ooh. Normally I'd like to Tragic Slip Screeching Scob immediately, but I think that we wait here. This is probably why we didn't get a lot of reanimation things. I feel like if our opponent's playing Screeching Scob especially, that they actually have a bunch of animation type stuff. But that's good for us, because we have double Animate Dead, so we can take cards out of their graveyard. That might not be terrible. Let's slip this, and then I can play Wake Dancer. Yeah, opponent's list is probably very similar to ours. Oh boy. Well then. Hello, stranger. That might take some doing, but I would like to do it. Ooh, Plague Witch. I think that I'd rather leave up Eye Blight's ending. Either Eye Blight's ending or 2 regeneration triggers off of the Twisted Abomination. That just seems like a better way to play this. I'd love to get World Gorger Dragon down, but I think that we've got the time anyways. Night's Whisper. Okay. And Urborg Uprising. Yeah, that's fine. This is unfortunate. We might kill our opponent before we get to World Gorger. What a tragedy. I really would like this to happen. It's really sweet, too, if we can actually World Gorger into play, and we can gain infinite life off the Bloodfell Caves. If we have, like, Mana War, we can bounce all of our opponent's creatures. If we have Phyrexian Rager, we can basically draw through our decks. There's a bunch of things that we can do. There's some cool things we can certainly do with the World Gorger. Come on. Find a way to kill Twisted Abomination. I actually want them to do this. They have Mana War, so they can bounce it. Okay, there's Mana War. Yep. Bouncing Plague Witch? Oh, come on. What? So they must have Innocent Blood. It's the only way this makes sense. And they just want us to sacrifice this? Prowling Pangolin. Okay. Why wouldn't they bounce the Twisted Abomination? This makes no sense. Just literally none. It's like my opponent can't be stream sniping me. I'm not streaming, right? Right? I'm just like making sure. I don't think I am. Alright. Well, I guess we just win. That's boring. And there we go. Alright, on to game 2. So close. Why did my opponent have to bounce the Plague Witch? Why couldn't they have just bounced the 5/3? Oh baby, we have World Gorger Dragon in our opening hand? How can we possibly mulligan this? Obviously we have to play it. Alright, this, jokes aside, this is actually a decent hand. Baleful Strix and Phyrexian Rager draws us a lot of extra cards. And they're both just pretty solid anyways. So I'm certainly not unhappy about that. Not to mention Eye Blight's ending's pretty great. Alright, so... Oh man. We just need a way to discard the World Gorger Dragon so we can animate it. So all we need is a Plague Witch. I could also skip playing a land for a turn and be able to discard. I mean, that's a thing I could do. I don't know that I want to. Let's play Rager. What do we get? Counterspell. Countering Phyrexian Rager. That's aggressive. I guess if they've got something to tap out for here, that makes sense. Nope. This is interesting. So do I try and play Jace the Mind Sculptor, or do I think that my opponent has another counterspell? It's a very good question. I feel like it's Factor Fiction. I don't think they have another counterspell. Okay. Well, that was kind of silly of our opponent then. I'm going to look at the top card here. Think of our library, just because I want to up Jace the Mind Sculptor's loyalty so it doesn't die immediately to anything. Let's go Counterspell on top. Yeah, that seems good. Icarid. Oh, good thing we used Jace. They have Icarid. Huh. That is an interesting card for sure. Make Jace a little smaller, but then Icarid dies. And it's probably not an issue anymore. So let's play Island, and then we can play Giant Tortoise as a blocker. I should have used Jace first. I actually want to brainstorm now. Oh man, we've got the Plague Witch. Okay. We have some options. So let's go Island, Bloodfell. I kind of want to play Plague Witch instead of playing the Giant Tortoise, so let's do that. Wait, where did our... Actually... Wait a minute, I'm very confused. I just realized we never drew the counterspell. Where did the counterspell go? I used Jace the Mind Sculptor. It put it on the bottom? That's weird. I swear I clicked top on that. Maybe I misclicked? I'll have to look back at that. That's very strange. Lead anything. Let's go counterspell on top. Yeah, that seems good. I play Giant Tortoise. I can still use Plague Witch. And I can still use Counterspell. Alright. And with Giant Tortoise in play, I have something to target with Plague Witch that doesn't kill anything else that I have. So that seems pretty good. This way, too, I can just kill Icarid if it comes back. Not that it matters all that much. We've got the Giant Tortoise anyways. And the opponent can pay 4 for it, but, or exile it for it. Alright, well. We were so close to World Gorger Dragon. We were so close to actually doing it. 2 games in a row, we were ready to throw it into the graveyard, animate dead, and just go to town. And our opponent didn't let us. No fun. Alright, hopefully we'll get to do it for round 2. That was pretty interesting, though. This deck is really strong. We've got some cool things in it. Double Counterspell, Jace, and just a ton of good, like, come-into-play abilities with Baleful Strix and Ragers and Gravediggers. Lots of really cool stuff. I actually love this deck. So I'll see you guys for round 2. We've got round 2 going here. I noticed in the interim that we actually are in the same draft that LSV is currently streaming, so my one night off from streaming when I'm instead recording, LSV is actually streaming this, so we might be able to hit him in the finals. I'd love for that to happen. I want to drop a World Gorger Dragon on somebody, and if I'm going to drop it on somebody, it should probably be LSV. Alright, yeah, I'll still play first. Like I said, our opponent could be the aggressive deck, and I don't want to go second against an aggro deck. This is a perfectly acceptable hand. It's not amazing by any means, but... And we have Tragic Slip and Una's Grace. Opponent mulliganing. So 4 mana, and now they're playing something. Oh, speaking of Young Pyro, there you go. Reckless Charge it. Oh, let's just slip that, I think. No reason to let our opponent have extra chances to, like, Reckless Charge it again or something. Or play a Firebolt. Yep, there's Reckless Charge number 2. And we take 4? I could block with Plague Witch, but I think we're okay just waiting. Idea. I'll still Una's Grace right now. But if we're going to play Una's Grace over and over, Animate Deading Young Pyro seems pretty good. Let's do that. Ooh, Pilgrim's Eye, so that's something else that I can use with Una's Grace, and it can start attacking in. I think at this point we probably attack in with Baleful Strix. I can double block with Rager and Elemental, or I can even just take 5 from the Curd Ape for 1 turn, and then afterwards, like, double block it, and they can only trade for Rager. Doesn't seem terrible. We get to leave up Memory Lapse, so our opponent can't get us too badly. Definitely use Pilgrim's Eye ability, and I'm going to get a Swamp. Attack with the Strix. We've got to put some pressure back on our opponent. Got to kill them at some time. Feel like now is a good time to start doing it. This is a matchup that's kind of worrying, though. Oh, wow, the opponent just conceded. Alright, then. Oh, that's a thing. Well, this is an interesting hand. World Gorger Dragon's looking a little bit out of place, but, I mean, we have Memory Lapse, Rager, and Mana War. Can't realistically throw this one back. So, nothing on turn 1. That's good for us. I'm really worried about our opponent just, like, going 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop on us. Going 2-drop, 3-drop, 4-drop is bad, but not as bad. Like, I don't want to see turn 1 Curd Ape. Yeah, Flinthoof Boar is pretty nasty, I will admit. And alright, there's the Boar. And Haste? Or are they going to play Curd Ape? I think I'm happier if they play Curd Ape, honestly. Rather than just hit me for 3 again. It's close. Neither one of them is good for me. Firebolt the Mana War. Alright, that's pretty bad too. That is very bad, actually. So, I kind of need to Eye Blight Sending the Flinthoof Boar, but if I do that, I'm taking 2 anyways. If I Rager or Wake Dancer, then I'm taking 3, but I also get a creature down. Yeah, I think it makes more sense to Rager, especially because Rager now, I get to draw an extra card. I might draw a land and I can Giant Tortoise and Eye Blight Sending in the turn. Counterspell's pretty awkward. Isochron Scepter Counterspell, but do I have time? I'll play Giant Tortoise, we'll play the Scepter and Counterspell. Because there's no real reason not to. We take 4. Oh, well, they have right. Flashback on Reckless Charge. That was silly. I didn't need to show any of this. I guess I'm going to 1, and I probably can't win from there. Because they just put Reckless Charge onto one of the Goblin tokens. I'm not even going to 1. I'm just dead, aren't I? +3/+. Yeah, I'm just dead. As long as they remember that's in their graveyard, I'm actually just dead. That was really dumb. I shouldn't have shown the extra cards, is what should have happened. I shouldn't have done that. Yeah. Now I just die. Darn. Totally forgot about the Reckless Charge. It's tough. Firebolt was also going to do it. Yeah, I should have thought of the flashback. Just not played anything. That is exactly the type of deck that I don't want to play against. Ugh. We'll keep. Glacial Wall is great here. Oh, man. I will snap trade a Pilgrim's Eye for a Curd Ape. Borderline Marauder, sure. I feel like our opponent probably doesn't attack. Alright. Well, we need some cards that are not lands. Alright, so then now they just don't have good attacks. They've just got killed in Champion. They can Firebolt again next turn, though, so they can kill the Skulking Ghost, which is pretty awkward. Ooh, that is another land. Alright, well, we'll pass the turn. It does mean that if we draw something like Twisted Abomination, we can just slam it, and Twisted Abomination probably just straight wins the game against this opponent. They haven't shown a Carbonize or anything with which to kill it, so, I mean, an unkillable 5/3 is probably pretty good against our opponent's deck. I can't imagine they do well against that. They didn't Firebolt. Keldon Marauders, sure. And we can trade Skulking Ghost for Keldon Champion or Borderline Marauder. The minute they get a Forest, this Curd Ape is going to be a real problem. And another land. Well, I guess we just pass the turn. Really nothing that we can do here. Now they Firebolt Skulking Ghost, and we're almost just dead on board. We're in a lot of trouble. Nothing but land. So we take 9 damage. Yeah, and then we take another one. So we go to 3 off of Keldon Marauders. They should be attacking with Curd Apes, yeah. So we're actually going to 2 now. I'll have to trade Pilgrim's Eye for a Curd Ape, I think. Yeah, we're really dead. We can't possibly live through this. Rager. Well, there's Counterspell. Unfortunately, doesn't do nearly enough. Opponent just still has us dead on board. We drew only land that game, so it wasn't a whole lot that we could do. Wish that we could have actually dropped the World Gorger Dragon Animate Dead, but what do you do? I mean, we did what we could. We tried valiantly. Sometimes your deck just does not cooperate with you. I really wanted to have more fun with this deck. This deck looked really insane. Being able to World Gorger with like Phyrexian Ragers and Pilgrim's Eye and things like that is pretty disgusting. We just get to go through our entire deck, but as it turns out, we just can't do anything. So we'll do another draft, and I will see you guys for the next one. It was a very interesting draft. And Burning Vengeance. Ooh, do get Merfolk Looter. I can certainly handle that. If we're not going to get Burning Vengeance, I will always take Merfolk Looter.